Hi everyone. So today I'm going to be talking about my current pregnancy. This is my second pregnancy. The first that I had, we did lose our son. So this is a pregnancy after loss. We lost our son last year when I was 32 weeks pregnant. At 24 weeks, we found out that our son had something called bilateral renal agenesis. He never developed kidneys. In turn, wasn't developing amniotic fluid, and then never had the lung development that he was supposed to have during his time in utero. So at 32 weeks in November of last year, we did lose him. Um, we decided about at 6 months postpartum to finally try again. We were originally going to wait until 9 months, but I was very ready at about 3 months to try again. My husband was not. His mindset was more at being safe for both me and our future baby to wait as long as we could. However, emotionally, it just wasn't right for us to wait. So I am going to talk a little bit about kind of other decisions that we made, and then also just how this pregnancy has been for me and my family so far. So like I said, we did try at 6 months. When I was 3 months postpartum, I was having a really hard time not having our son at home and not having a baby to take care of. My physical mind and body weren't understanding that he wasn't here. I would wake up in the morning expecting to see him and kind of turn over, and then it would click like that we had lost him, and it was a very odd feeling going through that and really devastating. And I just knew that I really did want to try again. Something I didn't expect to feel when we did try again was feeling guilty, though. I knew I was going to have anxiety. I knew I was going to be nervous and sad and missing my son, but also, excited about the pregnancy. However, I didn't expect that I would feel bad for getting pregnant, that we were getting pregnant so soon after having our son and losing our son. But something that we kept in mind was, and something my husband kind of tells me a lot, which really does help, is that sorry, that's our dog. Is that our son Gideon would want us to be happy and want us to continue our life, and that's part of that is continuing our family, because having a family is a really big deal to us, and continuing to build that and not thinking of it as replacing him, because we could never, and just thinking of it more as continuing our family, and that he's part of that, and he would be happy for us to do so. We made the decision not to tell anyone until I was 16 weeks pregnant. The reason being is, with the diagnosis that our son had, even though our doctors said it was a fluke, they wanted us, or we were concerned that it might happen again, because there is no direct gene related with bilateral renal agenesis. However, we had incredible geneticists and doctors look over ourselves, our history, and the genes that Gideon had, and they didn't see any reason why it should happen again, but it was still something that really made us nervous. So we had our anatomy scan at 16 weeks, and we did get confirmation of kidneys, and we were able to tell our family after that. A huge reason why we waited was we didn't want to tell family and everyone get very excited, or people tell other people, and then we find out something's wrong, even if it wasn't bilateral renal agenesis, even if it was something different at our anatomy scan, and then us having to kind of relay that information back to everyone. Last year, it was really hard for me. It almost felt like I had to force myself to tell all these people when I wasn't ready to tell people, because I was still processing the information myself. I didn't understand, and then having to tell other people, and then try to make them feel better was really hard. So we wanted to avoid that, but also to avoid telling people and having a bunch of people be nervous and anxious. And I'm already nervous and anxious, and I'm trying to avoid having those emotions, and being as positive as I can for the pregnancy, and for my mental state. And so we didn't want to have to have other people going through all of this if it was unnecessary, if everything did look great. So we were very lucky that everything looks amazing. We're having a baby girl, um, which I'm really excited about. It's definitely something to get used to. I have 9 sisters and only 2 brothers, so I always wanted boys. I love my sisters, but I never kind of really saw myself as a mom to a girl, so it's been something to get used to, but I'm getting more and more excited about it. And I did go a little crazy buying clothes, and I'm not allowed to buy anything else. Um, Something that has been hard that I also didn't expect was not connecting to this pregnancy. Um, One of my husband and my favorite things when I was pregnant with Gideon was how much he moved, and that my husband would kind of play. And I always thought of it as playing catch with him because my husband would push once on my stomach and he'd kick him 3 times. So my husband would push 3 times and he'd kick him once, and they'd kind of do that together. And so we haven't had that movement yet, and not knowing if everything was going to be okay, having to hide my pregnancy, all of these things kind of attributed to us not feeling that connection with this pregnancy like we did very early on with Gideon. Um, and even though I was extremely sick during this pregnancy, I didn't really feel pregnant for a while. Even though I started showing a lot sooner, like 6 weeks compared to 12 weeks last year. Um, so that's something that has been hard, and just getting excited. I think for my husband, it's been harder for him because am starting to feel a little bit, and I'm actually growing. I'm the one experiencing these like physical changes. So for him, it's more, yeah, he's seeing me grow, but he's making that connection still difficult. And so I think that once he starts or she starts moving more, we'll be able to kind of connect even more and deeper. And once it kind of sets in that everything's looking good, and the further we get along in the pregnancy, I think he's going to feel better. However, I think that until she's born and in his arms, he's not going to feel 100% comfortable, and that's, I think, completely normal. I kind of have to force myself to continue to think about us bringing her home. And I'll imagine putting her in the car seat, driving her home, bringing her here, putting her in the house. I already started decorating a bunch of things for her. We're going to start adding things to the house for her. And so a huge part of that is not just, getting ready for her, but also mentally getting ourselves in the mindset of this is real, this is getting to happen for us, and trying to push that fear out of well, what if something else happens, what if this happens, because anything could happen. And for me, I really have to just try to stay as positive as possible, because you never know what is going to happen. um, so there has been a lot of anxiety with that. But another thing that I was really anxious about was when we did tell my family. I definitely thought at least someone, because we didn't really. Like I said, we maybe told 3 people, and that was me. I told 3 people because I did need a certain amount of support going through it, but also we were staying with my mom for a little while, in between a duty station in Florida and then coming back and buying a house. So it would have been very obvious when I was in a swimsuit that I have this belly. So I was really afraid that people were going to be mad, but we were blessed that no one was, and we have a really great family.